Hi all, I'm Ziv, a web designer and lead educator here at Elementor. Today we'll create a professional landing page from start to finish without touching a single line of code. It will be easy to follow and most importantly, we'll do it all with Elementor. This tutorial will give you a basic breakdown of Elementor and show you how to design, build and publish landing pages for your own business or customers, just like the one you see here. A landing page is a page on your site visitors arrive on via some kind of advertising, such as a Facebook ad or Google search. The page is designed with a specific purpose to convert visitors into leads by taking a specific action. So let's see how that translates to our design. The visitor will see the hero section first, so here we need to grab their attention from the get-go. There's a video running in the background and a bold title presenting the product. The button is a clear call to action that is set to scroll down to the second section when visitors click on it. Here they see a selection of flowers with prices and can directly call the flower shop to inquire and place an order by clicking on the button. Lastly, we have a Contact Us section with some text and social icons to find out more about the flower shop. Okay, great. So now that we know what we're going to build, let's jump in and make a start. To start working with Elementor, you need to create your first page. So from the WordPress dashboard, under Pages, click Add New and give it a name. Then click Edit with Elementor. To start with a clean page, go to the bottom panel and click the Page Settings icon. Under Page Layout, choose Canvas. This is the easiest way to create a full blank page without a header and a footer. Exactly what we need for our landing page. Let's get familiar with the Elementor interface. On the right side is the editing area of the page. This is where you can add and edit elements that form the layout of your page. On the left side is the Elementor panel. Here are creative tools called widgets. You use widgets to add elements to your page, like headings or a text editor, images and videos, and much more. You can always access this area by clicking on the widgets icon here on the top right. On the top left, you have a hamburger menu, where you have more options, like setting default colors and fonts, which saves a lot of time when designing your page. I've gone ahead and set the headlines and accent text to Cinzel with a weight of 200. The body text I set to Montserrat with a weight of 300. Just don't forget to apply your changes. Back in the hamburger menu, you can also click View Page to see your live website, or Exit to Dashboard to go back to your WordPress dashboard. At the bottom is another panel with more key features, such as Page Settings, where you can give the page a name and choose a page layout like we did before. Here is the Navigator, which helps you get a clear and organized view of your page. Currently it's empty because we haven't added any content yet. We'll use it later. Here we can see our edit history to view recent changes. And next to it is the responsive menu for switching between screen modes. We can preview our changes, and when ready to go live, simply hit the Publish button. There are other save options as well, which I'll talk about later. Okay, great. Now let's take a closer look at how pages are built. There are two ways you can start. Let's begin with the library. Here you can preview Elementor's pre-made blocks and pages, as well as your own templates, and insert them into your page. I'll go ahead and insert this block so you can see. Elementor uses three main building blocks: sections, columns, and widgets. Sections are the largest and can be identified by their blue border, like you see here. Inside them are columns. In this case, there's one. You can identify them by the black dashed border. These columns house widgets, such as the texts and button you see here. You control the section, column, and widgets with their handle. To edit them, simply right-click their handle, where you can edit, duplicate, delete, and much more. The blue line indicates where it will be positioned when you let go. You can move them around by simply dragging and dropping them. Sections, columns, and widgets have 3 tabs in the panel on the left. Sections and columns have Layout, Style, and Advanced tabs, whereas widgets have Content, Style, and Advanced tabs. Soon, we'll see how these settings are used to create our landing page. But first, I'll go ahead and delete this section, because we will create our landing page from scratch. Another way to add sections is by pressing the plus icon over here. Then simply choose one of these preset structures, which we can tweak to our liking on the go. So let's dive in and start building our landing page. In the previous lesson, we learned how to get up and running with Elementor. In this lesson, we'll start building our page. I'll add a section with 1 column and give it a minimum height of 100 VH. This way, the section will always take up at least 100% of the viewport's height, no matter the amount of content in it. I'll set the content width to 800 pixels over here. And in style, we can give our section a background. There are a couple of types. You can open the media library by clicking on the plus over here. As you can see, it's empty. We can drag in an image file as well as other media. I want a video to play in the background, so I'll go ahead and drag in a video file. And then I'll copy this link over here. Now close the library and change the background type to video. We can either add a YouTube or Vimeo link, or simply paste the link to the video file we just uploaded to our media library. I'll go ahead and set it to play on mobile as well. Next, I'll give it a classic background overlay. You can either use the color picker or paste the color code over here. I'll go for this nice purple color. If you want to reuse this color, simply click the plus icon and it'll be added to your color palette automatically. Next, I'll set the opacity to 0.7 and I'll darken it a bit by using the blend mode option. Okay, great. Next, I'll drag in a text editor widget and change the text. In style, I'll align it to the center and change the color to white. In typography, the default font family Montserrat we set before is automatically applied here. I'll change the size to 15 pixels, weight to 200, and set transform to uppercase. I'll also set the letter spacing to 7, so it spreads out nicely. Then drag in a heading widget and change the text. Align it to the center as well. And in style, set the color to white. In typography, the font family Cinzel we set before as default is automatically applied here as well. I'll set the size to 70 pixels and transform to uppercase. Next, drag in another text editor widget and change the text. Like before, align it to the center and change the color to white. Then set the line height to 2 EM. In Advanced, unlink the padding values so you can set them individually. And change the unit to percentage and give it 20% padding to the left and right. Okay, great, looking good. We're almost done with our first section. Time to drag in the button widget. I'll change the text and align it to the center. Here, I'll add a link that sets it to scroll down to the second section on this page, which we need to build first. So I'll show you how to do that soon. I'll set its size to large, and in style, typography, I'll set the transform to uppercase. Next, I'll give it this dark text color and change the background color to white. On hover, I'll change the text color to white and the background color to this pink red. I'll save this color so I can reuse it later. Let's add a hover animation as well. I'll set it to float. Lastly, I'll set the border radius to 0 so the button becomes a rectangle. Let's check out what we have so far. I'll go ahead and press preview over here. As you can see, the page opens in a new tab. Cool. Okay, great. Let's move on to the second section. I'll add a section with one column and give it a minimum height of 100 VH. In style, I'll give it this dark background color and save it as well. Now, in order to speed up our design process, let's go back to our first section and copy this text editor widget. Then paste it in the column and change the text. Next, I'll do the same for the heading. Back in the first section, I'll copy it and paste it over here. Then change the text. Getting the hang of it? Let's do it one last time with the text editor widget. Okay, let's move on. This time, I'll drag in an intersection widget. It comes with two columns by default. I'll right-click on the column and select Add New Column, so there's 3 in total. Now, let's drag an image box widget into the first column. I'll click here to enter the media library and simply drag my flower images onto it to upload them. I'll choose this image first. Next, I'll change the title and description. And in style, I'll set the spacing to 0 and width to 100%. In the content dropdown, align the text to left. And for the title, set the spacing to 2 and color to white. In typography, change the font family to Montserrat, size to 18 pixels, and set it to transform to uppercase as well. For the description, set the color to white and drag down the opacity a bit. Set the size to 16 pixels and give it a weight of 200. Now let's duplicate this widget and drag it into the other columns. I'll go ahead and change their images, texts, and descriptions so we end up with 3 types of flowers with price tags. Okay, great. Now let's copy this text editor widget. Then paste it under the flowers. And in advanced, add 10% padding on the top to create some space. Next, copy the button from the first section. Paste it and change the text. In the link field, I'll add a tell scheme, like so. This will trigger a phone call when clicking on the button in a web page and on a mobile phone. Back in the section settings, in advanced, I'll unlink the padding and add 200 pixels to the top and bottom. Now it's time to set the button in the first section to scroll to this section. I'll go ahead and type a CSS ID over here for the section and copy it. Then, back in the button's link field in the first column, paste the ID after the pound key. And that's it. Now, when your visitors press the button, they'll be taken to the second section automatically. Cool. Okay, great. Let's move on to the third and final section. I'll go ahead and copy the first section and paste it at the bottom of the page. I'll change the min height to 50 VH and set the background type to classic. For now, I'll leave the purple background overlay so we can see the texts. I'll remove it later so we end up with a clean white background. But first, I'll delete these widgets so we're left with the text editor widget over here. Then I'll change the text and set its color. Now let's duplicate the widget and change the text as well. In style, I'll change the size to 60 pixels and give it a bold weight of 600. Then remove the letter spacing and drag the line height all the way down. Next, duplicate the first text again and drag it under the phone number. Here, I'll add the flower shop's address and drag in a social icons widget over here. Add an item and choose the Instagram icon from the library. Then add all of the social links accordingly. I'll go ahead and change the shape to square, and in style, give it a custom color, and set its size to 25, padding to 0.7, and spacing to 12. On icon hover, I'll set the color to change to the pink red we set before. I'll add the float hover animation here as well. And in advanced, I'll unlink the padding and add 40 pixels padding to the top. Okay, great. Now, back in the section settings in style, let's remove the purple background overlay, so we end up with a clean white background. Cool, we're almost ready. We are done creating our page, but many potential customers will land on it via their smartphones or tablets. So let's see how we can tweak it for mobile. I'll go ahead and enter the mobile responsive mode and tweak it a bit. I'll open the navigator as well, so we get a clear overview of all our sections. I'll double-click the first section in the navigator and name it Hero Section. When clicking on the arrow, we can see that it contains one column, and clicking again reveals all the widgets in it. I'll select the heading and change the size to 45 pixels. As you can see, there are responsive handles indicating the screen sizes you're editing for. The 45 pixels will be applied to mobiles only. Next, I'll select the text editor widget and in advanced, unlink the padding values and change the left and right to 10% each. Again, these values are mobile specific. Let's move on to the second section. I'll name it Flower Section. In the Advanced tab, I'll first unlink the padding values and then give it some top and bottom padding to create some space. Next, select the Our Flowers heading and change its size to 45 pixels. Then click the text editor widget and in Advanced, unlink the padding values and change the left and right to 10% each. I'll also add 10% padding to the top of the text editor widget above the button, over here. Okay, great. Lastly, let's tweak the third section for mobile as well. In the navigator, I'll name it Contact Section. I'll change the phone number size to 35 pixels. And in the section settings under Advanced, unlink the padding and add 80 pixels to the top and bottom. There are some other responsive settings you can try out here as well, such as reversing columns for mobile and tablet. I'll go ahead and add a new column so you can see how it works. I'll drag an image widget into it and choose this nice flower. Now, back in the section's advanced settings, under responsive, if I reverse the columns for mobile, the image will show first. We can also hide entire sections, as well as columns. And this can be done for all responsive modes, like you see here. I'll go ahead and delete this column, since we won't be needing it for our landing page. Another cool way to tweak your designs for mobile is by using the column width feature. I'll go back to the Flowers section and click on the first column in the inner section. Then under Layout, set a custom column width. I'll go for 50%, so it takes up half of the width. I'll do the same for the second column. As you can see, we can fully control this for mobile, tablets, and desktop. I'll go ahead and delete the values so they're back to what I had before. We are done. Let's publish and check out our final result. Cool. We can also save this page as a template and reuse it to easily create multiple landing pages on the fly. Simply give the template a name, and next time when you create a new page and enter the library, you'll see it under My Templates. And if you'd like to save this contact section, for example, you can do that too. Simply right-click on the handle and choose Save as Template like before. Well, that's it. Now you know how to create a professional landing page from start to finish without touching a single line of code. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial and feel confident in using Elementor to design, build, and publish landing pages for your own business or customers. Ciao for now.